Now do me a favor, if you will, and think back. When was the last time you Googled something? Now ask yourself this question. If you're under 30, did you Google it at all? For millions and Gen Z, Google isn't the go-to search engine anymore. It's just old news. And that's not just a trend. It's a crisis coming for the search giant. You see, a storm is building that's threatening to dismantle Google's empire, shifting demographics, aggressive competitors, and an ecosystem of digital advertising on the verge of collapse. Is this the end of search as we know it? Welcome to That's Life, I swear. This podcast is about life's happenings in this world that conjure up such words as intriguing, frightening, life-changing, inspiring, and more. I'm Rick Barron, your host. That said, here's the rest of this story. Like a mighty redwood that has dominated the forest for generations, Google stands at a very pivotal moment since its inception. Its massive presence is masking the subtle signs of being in jeopardy at its very roots. While industry observers marvel at its apparent invincibility, multiple forces are converging that could reshape Google's future more dramatically than any single regulatory challenge. Indeed, the recent antitrust proceedings unveiled by federal prosecutors may eventually prove less significant than the broader technological and market dynamics now in motion. Now, what do I mean by that? A seismic shift is occurring in the digital information landscape. Google's Bedrock search platform faces new challenges from multiple directions. Now, there are 3 challenges sure to keep Google's management up at night. Number 1, online shoppers and information seekers are shifting to Google's competitors, taking ad dollars with them. The second threat is the rise of answer engines, like Perplexity. The third and the most dangerous threat to Google is the degradation of the web ecosystem it shaped and relies on, a challenge largely beyond its control. Now let's break these 3 issues down. First, AI-powered solutions are transforming how users search for engines, while emerging social platforms capture the attention of digital users. Meanwhile, the aggressive rise of machine-generated web content threatens to compromise the reliability of traditional search results. This said, Google faces a clear and immediate threat. Users searching for information or shopping online are turning to competitors, causing ad dollars to go with it. Now, the writing appears to be on the wall. Consumer behavior is evolving rapidly as internet users embrace alternative platforms for both information discovery and online shopping, prompting advertisers to redistribute their budgets accordingly. Industry analysts paint a stark picture. By 2025, projected figures from eMarketer suggest that Google will control less than half of America's search-based advertising revenue, marking a historic downturn in its market dominance. Meanwhile, TikTok, with less than 4% of U.S. digital ad revenue, is now showing strong growth potential. According to a Wall Street Journal report, 23% of TikTok users search within 30 seconds of opening their app, contributing to its global daily search volume of 3 billion. The second major threat is the rise of answer engines, like Perplexity, which delivers direct responses to queries. OpenAI has added internet search to ChatGPT. Meta is exploring its own search engine. And AI chatbots, even those without internet access, are increasingly capable and widely adopted. Microsoft and even Apple now integrate such tools in their operating systems. New York University professor Melissa Schelling states that Google's dominance in search seemed unshakable until AI emerged, much like a e-commerce challenged Walmart. Now, Google is fighting to lead this AI shift, rolling out AI-generated search summaries in the U.S. earlier this year. The company acknowledges these innovations are a response to fierce competition from AI-driven startups and tech giants alike. And third, and probably the most dangerous threat to Google, is the degradation of the web ecosystem it helps shape and relies on. Search quality is declining across the board. Now, partly due to the spread of AI-generated content. This alone poses a serious challenge for Google. However, its response providing AI-generated summaries that reduce the need to click on links risk further eroding the web. As a key driver of internet traffic and revenue, Google sustains much of the web's content creation. Now, if its traffic dwindles, so will the incentive and resources to produce sites optimized for its search algorithm. The dynamics at play reflect a delicate ecological balance. Google has historically functioned as a critical traffic distributor, channeling visitors and, by extension, revenue across the internet's vast network of sites. As these direct answer features reduce click-through rates, content creators may find diminishing returns on their investments in creating high-quality, search-optimized content, potentially triggering a downward spiral in web content quality. Industry leaders are already sounding alarm bells about this shifting landscape. The rise of AI-driven answers poses existential questions for digital marketing strategies and web properties. A future is developing where widespread AI adoption could fundamentally alter web traffic patterns and force a rethinking of traditional digital marketing roles and website strategies. Now, evidence suggests this transformation is already underway. Despite posting strong revenue gains in their 2024 earnings report, Google faces concerning metrics. Data from advertising platform Sky reveals an 8% year-over-year decline in ad click-through rates. While the precise cause remains unclear, analysts speculate that Google's newly implemented AI summary feature may be the culprit. These summaries reduce users' need to interact with sponsored content or scroll to ad-populated areas of search results. Research paints a stark picture of this evolving digital landscape. In 2024, a research report highlighted how AI-enhanced search results could dramatically reshape website visibility and traffic patterns. The financial implications are significant. Advertising specialist Raptif estimates publishers could see a $2 billion revenue decline for publishers once these changes fully roll out. Harvard Business School professor David Yoffie takes a different approach and offers a measured perspective on the timeline of this transformation. He says consumer habits are remarkably resilient. He observes, noting that without a revolutionary alternative, established users' behaviors tend to persist. In short, we're just creatures of habit. This suggests that Google's market position, while challenged, may erode gradually, then collapse suddenly. After the government's recent victory in an antitrust case against Google in 2024, the Justice Department is proposing that the search giant should be prevented from giving preferential access to its search engine on devices that uses its Android mobile operating system. It's also proposing that it sell off its popular Chrome browser, among other remedies. The response from Google was swift and emphatic. Kent Walker, who oversees global affairs of the company, characterized the government's recommendations as drastically overreaching, arguing they would undermine both consumer interests and America's technological edge. The company plans to present its own alternative remedies to the court. The Justice Department's case will likely take years to reach a conclusion, and the final resolution is expected to fall short of the ambitious measures initially proposed. Now, the most probable result is that Google will strike a consent decree deal with the Trump administration, much like Microsoft did with George W. Bush's administration, according to Yoffie. Similar to the effort to dismantle Microsoft, the government's case against Google might ultimately be overtaken by competitive market dynamics that prove more influential than antitrust regulation. So what can we learn from this story? What's the takeaway? Over history, we've seen corporations come and go. Companies like Sun Microsystems, Yahoo, Netscape, AOL, Digital Equipment, and more. Once some companies fail to innovate so that they can stay ahead of the curve, that is the moment they lose their edge and fight to catch up, if they can. Now, time will tell what Google ends up doing and avoid becoming a footnote in history. Well, there you go, my friends. That's life, I swear. For further information regarding the material covered in this episode, I invite you to visit my website, which you can find on Apple Podcasts for show notes and the episode transcript. As always, I thank you for the privilege of you listening and your interest. Be sure to subscribe here or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. And we'll see you soon.